Welcome to Braniel Below the Surface podcast, brand new episode, and we've got a pretty important guest on the podcast today. Probably could have bigged that up a little bit more for you.
I think that's more than enough.
But we have Niall Manogue, who is the new principal of Braniel Primary. Mm-hmm. Woo, woo, woo. It's great to have you on. Thank you for coming in, taking time on your summer holidays to come and have you on.
Not at all. It's good to be here.
Are you excited?
Very, yes. Yeah, really looking forward to kind of starting in Braniel. Obviously, we're going through the summer holidays, so just finishing up my previous school and then starting to put my mind into kind of where we'll be in Braniel in the next few weeks.
One of the things we really want to do is to get to know you.
Okay.
And this is going to be hopefully an opportunity for some people to be nosy and to kick
very
in and go,
good.
I wonder what the new principal's
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
And hopefully we're going to tease that out a wee bit.
Do we need to clear up the name before we do anything else?
Maybe you should.
Yeah. So my surname is Manogue, right?
Manogue.
So I'm going to do the spelling of that because you get all sorts of variations of it. So it's not mango, it's not Manogue, Manogue. Okay, right? So Manogue.
Not like Kylie.
And exactly, I need to dispel the rumours before they start. No relation to Kylie, I'm afraid. Manogue, not Minogue. There you go.
Very good. So who is Niall? What are you about?
Oh gosh, there's a complicated question. Well, I'm Niall. I suppose married to Jane. So Jane's a teacher. She teaches in Bangor. We live really close, so beside Tullycarnot Park.
Okay.
So we live really close to Braniel, which is great. We've two kids. We've got James, who's 11. He's starting St. Pat's this year. And then we've Rory, and he's going into P4. Okay. Yeah. What else do you want to know?
What makes you tick? Like, what are you like when you're not in school? What do you do? Like, what are you up to?
I'm outside.
Okay.
So I'm an outdoors person. So beaches, mountains, that sort of thing. And I guess as a family, we're really into that sort of stuff. So riding bikes, camping, climbing mountains, in and out of the water, that sort of thing. So that sort of stuff, I just really love it. It sort of, it brings me alive, I think, those sort of things. Grew up with a lot of that. So I grew up in Bangor, beside the sea, and so spent summers on the beach and things like that, and and then sort of moved to Belfast, and obviously you lose the beach bit and things like that, but kind of kids and family life has kind of brought us back towards that as well. Yeah,
growing up in Bangor is like, obviously for us a wee jaunt to Bangor involves Picky Park and the Swans and everything else. As a kid in Bangor, is that normal life, or do Bangor people not go to Picky?
I don't know if I could speak for all Bangor people. Probably not, no.
No.
I grew up, I suppose, the same as teenagers, kids anywhere. Just sort of, in and out of friends' houses, in and out of the park, things like that. Yeah, so I guess we probably wouldn't be going to Picky and stuff like that. No. Down at the beach, the Commons, a big bit of grass in front of the beach at Ballyhome. Nice. Would have spent a lot of time there. Yeah.
Very good. So, when did you first want to become a teacher?
Oh, flip. Well, my mum was a teacher.
Okay.
So, I guess we kind of grew up with that as kind of part of our world. Before I was a teacher, I was a youth worker. Okay. So, when I was going through secondary school, did a lot of youth work in my local church, and really loved that. And enjoyed working with young people and with kids in particular, actually. Went to university, kept doing youth work and kids work. And when I graduated, I went and worked as a youth worker full-time in a church. Really loved it. Did that for 3 years. And at the end of that point, then I knew I still wanted to work with kids, with families, but I wanted something a bit more formal. So probably at that point is when I thought about teaching. So the fact that I'd grown up with a teacher probably put me off kind of going down that route when I was at school, but kind of when I'd worked as a youth worker for 3 years, I thought I like working with kids. I enjoy their company. I enjoy sort of working with them and having a bit of a laugh with them and things like that. But teaching was a good way into that. So I went and trained across in England, did a PGCE, taught there for a year, and then kind of took a different direction for a bit. But probably at that point, probably sort of, what's that, 24-ish, I thought, teaching, and primary school in particular.
Yeah.
So although I was a youth worker, and I really enjoyed working with teenagers, I thought I would rather have done that in an informal setting rather than formal. So I didn't necessarily want to be their teacher in school. So yeah, that's what led me into primary school teaching.
Where was your first role?
So I trained in Cambridge, did my PGCE there, and then I taught in a school there. So Queen Edith Primary School it was called. It was really great, really mixed. Yeah, so we would have kids from kind of local housing estate, and then we would have kids whose parents were professors at the university. So it was a real mixed bag.
Wow.
And I was there for a year, and then really enjoyed that. And thought I would be there for a while, but then an opportunity came to go and work overseas.
Oh wow! Okay.
So I had spent, alongside doing the youth work, my summer holidays, I'd done lots of trips to Africa. So that had really got under my skin.
Okay.
Probably aged 18, 19. I went with my church at that point to Uganda and fell in love with it. And I kind of kept going back. And so would have taken groups of young people out and things like that. And an opportunity arose to go back there and work full time.
Wow.
So I did that. I packed in my sort of Cambridge teaching job and went to work in a hospital in Uganda.
How long were you there for?
2 years, nearly 2 years.
Wow. I'm sure that was quite an experience.
Oh, it was incredible. Yeah, highs were higher and the lows were lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really loved it. Loved being part of that community. It was definitely hard. Lonely at times, I was there on my Todd.
What is it like out there?
Oh, flip.
I know that's good. We need another podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
But I think it'll be quite interesting to hear about that.
I really enjoyed it. I think I realised I really enjoyed living and working somewhere that was different culturally to my own sort of setting. And I went in, having travelled in Africa a bit, and thought from the off, I know what's going on here. I understand this, And actually, the longer I was there, the more I realised I didn't. That there were layers of things that were going on in relationships and dynamics and cultural things that I was only just beginning to kind of peel back. So I worked in the hospital. So I went to be a youth worker. That was my initial sort of pitch. But when I got there, it was really clear that I couldn't be a youth worker. Actually, the cultural barriers, the language barrier was just too much for me to do it. The hospital, it was called Chiwoko Hospital, so it would have been a hospital that's well known to sort of people from Bangor, Northern Ireland. The Ulster Hospital, kind of close to us here, they have a big relationship with this hospital, or did have. They did a lot of work in the community around sexual health and HIV/AIDS, and that's what I thought I was going to do, but I was naive. So I ended up doing project management, so looking after donors, trying to find funding for the HIV/AIDS team in particular in the hospital, and really loved it because you could see difficult circumstances, difficult things that were really heart-wrenching, and you could do something about it quickly. Like, it was hands-on, you were right there. And I think sometimes, when we look at difficult things in the world, we feel a bit detached from it. That was one of the advantages of being there, was that it was right in front of you, The community was warm, like, you're welcomed in a way that's very humbling. And something that sort of stuck with me around hospitality, around community.
It's interesting. I think there is, you have to have a certain type of character to be able to do something like that in a culture that's different. And I think that actually says quite a lot about you as well.
I'm curious about things, and I think that makes me a good teacher. Like you said earlier, what makes me tick, that's one of those things. Like, there's so many buzzwords around teaching, aren't there, and around education and lifelong learning and all that sort of stuff. But I'm interested in stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that was, that's a good value to have when you're living somewhere else that's different, is to be kind of curious. And I think being here, being in a school, working with kids and adults and learning, being curious is a good thing.
So you came home from Uganda.
Yeah.
Like, how do you come back after being in the culture that's so different from here? How do you come back and adjust back into normal again?
It definitely was tricksy for a while. So I came back. I remember one sort of moment standing in the Tesco's at Knocknagonie and like just feeling a bit out of my depth. I forget which aisle I was standing in, but I was standing, let's call it the, baked beans aisle, and there were just rows and rows, a choice that I hadn't had for 2 years, and it was a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because we lived in it was a rural hospital, but you would go down to the capital city, and it was a big supermarket. You would buy 4 weeks worth of stuff and bring it back. But that was like, there's 2 types of beans.
Yeah.
But something just about the amount of stuff that there was definitely took a bit of kind of getting used to. The community I was in is not perfect, and sometimes I think we put sort of those like African communities or those communities up on a bit of a pedestal and say it's wonderful and there's no flaws. Of course there are there as much as anywhere else, but it was tricky coming back and sort of reconciling life there with life here. When I came back, I started to work then. So I was there with a mission agency, a charity, CMS Ireland, a very old organisation, big sort of Anglican Church of Ireland history. Yeah. And I worked for them when I came back here. Okay. So I did that for 5 years. And that was sort of managing projects in a particular part of Africa, so Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Kenya, Congo, DR Congo, and then managing relationships with churches and organisations here and trying to be a link between those two things. So did that for 5 years. Is that 5 years? 5 years. Loved it. It was great.
Where are you finding all these years? Because like
I'm old.
Are you?
I am old, yeah. 46. So,
like Peter Pan.
You said that. I saw a photo. You know the way Facebook pings photos back at you? I saw a photo, and it wasn't that long ago, a number of years ago, and my beard was brown. It's no longer brown, So
that's what being a principal does to you.
Time marches on, yeah. I did that for 5 years, and Jane and I were married at that point. And then I really missed school life. So a lot of that job was, out on the road and working with churches, and got a lot of fulfillment from that, but missed being part of a school community. So around about sort of June of that year, I started looking at, could I get back into school? Hard to get back into, because at that point I'd been out for 7 years. So there was one job I could apply for in Elm Grove Primary in East Belfast, and a temporary post for a year doing a bit of music and teaching a class, and went for it and got it, and that was that. So
you're a bit of a musician then, are you?
I played a bit, yeah. So I was a trumpet player in my youth. Yeah. And I do a bit of guitar and that sort of thing.
There's a secret one. He's trumpet player.
A trumpet player, yeah.
Can you still play?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, you never forget.
No, not really. No, it's kind of well ingrained,
I actually remember it must have been on like P5 or P6, and my dad constantly telling me, do not ever bring an instrument home from school. And me walking home or coming home on a Friday, not with a trumpet or a cornet, but with a French horn.
Oh gosh, right.
And
that's
my dad was
end.
like, what is this? It was a French horn. And I remember I had it for a week. Didn't learn very much, as you can probably tell, but I still remember trying to blow into it. And I have my wife plays a trombone.
Okay, right.
And I understand the what I'm working with, the technique that you need to have to blow into a brass instrument is extremely difficult.
And the French horn particularly so.
Oh,
of the brass instruments, the French horn I think is the trickiest. Yeah.
So it was safe to say I went back. My dad did not appreciate the noise. But I'm delighted you can play an instrument very well.
Well, Rory, who's going into P4, he's just got the nod to learn a brass instrument. So that may well come full circle, that I subjected my family, my parents to, parping and making noises on the trumpet. That may well come back to haunt me now.
So Elm Grove,
Yes.
how long were you there for?
So I was there for nearly 10 years.
Oh wow! From
yeah.
a temporary job to 10 years, that's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah. So loved it. Yeah, really. I was looking to be kind of part of a community when I came back to school life, and really found that, you know, in Elm Grove. So Beersbridge Road, Inner East Belfast, like a part of the city that's changed and was changing at that point an awful lot, and the school was changing. Yeah, just a really tight knit staff team. Met some sort of lifelong friends there. Enjoyed working with families and with kids, and enjoyed the sort of holistic nature of kind of work there, you know, that you were interested in families' lives, not just in, you know, from 9:15 to 3:00. Yeah, so I was there for nearly 10 years, started in P7, went to P6, and then bounced down to P4 for the last sort of 4 or 5 years. And loved P4. That was actually, if I could go back into the classroom, that's where I'd go.
Yeah.
In the middle of the school, yeah. So started off doing a bit of music, helping out with that, and then it's a big school, Elm Grove. You know, we'd three classes of every year, and then for a while, Avenel, which was the school the other side of the Beersbridge Road, closed. So a lot of the kids then came to us. So then at points we'd 4 classes in the year. So yeah, ended up then becoming a head of a key stage 1, P3, P4, for 3.5 years there. Did a master's at Queen's during that time.
What's that in?
Education.
Nice.
So was looking. So leadership has always interested me in thinking about culture. So, you know, back to those African days, thinking about how you set a tone in a culture in an organization has always really interested me and kind of fascinated me. And so I guess I was sort of dipping my toe in the water of sort of senior leadership stuff in school. Then did the masters and thought, well, you know, let me have a go at principals and vice principals and those sort of things. So applied for a job in West Winds, on the edge of Newton Ards, and like to my absolute shock, got it. Yeah, and then the world changed at that point because then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So I got that. I think I must have been one of the last appointments before it all kind of closed down. That was January, and then if you remember, yeah, the interviews were in January, February, and then the lockdown happened.
March, wasn't it?
Marchish, yeah. So I had just been recommended for appointment prior to that, and I got all that through, and I started in West Winds on the 1st of June, 5 years ago. So what's that? 2020. So that was, school was closed.
Yeah.
So my first day being a principal
disaster,
and
like.
first day in that school, in that new community, was on my own in the office.
That's nuts.
And the school was empty.
And it's actually quite funny because I'm almost certain that I remember that, and this might have been 2020, that I'm almost certain I may have seen a video of you in your first. I don't know why it came up on my newsletter at the time.
The algorithm.
But it was back at the time. But were you reading a book or something?
I was reading a book. Yep. So
Did I see that? Yeah.
the first book. So yeah, because you were then trying to think, right? Well, how does this community get to know me? Because I'm not here, you know. Like I like to be a principal, I like to be a leader that's approachable. So, you know, I'm at the front gate. I'm always there to speak to parents and families and kids and staff. But how do you do that whenever we're in our houses? Yeah. So yeah, I read an Oliver Jeffers book, How to Catch a Star.
Oh, there you go.
Which is a great book, and actually I may well bring it and read it to the kids in Braniel, because it's an absolutely fascinating book, and we did lots of Oliver Jeffers things over the 5 years. I think he's a great author, really quirky, but I think he has a good way of presenting sort of big ideas in ways that are kind of quirky and accessible. So the book's about perseverance, which I think is a huge thing in school life.
Your time at West Winds as principal, obviously that was your first principal experience.
Yeah.
How was that?
The deep end, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learn a lot very quickly. And it was a obviously really unusual circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed being principal, and I really felt part of that community. There's big connections between it and East Belfast, so I think that helped. That I wasn't a total outsider. That people at least knew. Like, so when I turned up, I taught nephews and nieces and things like that. So I think that helped. But I really enjoyed being part of that community. Yeah, I still haven't quite got my head around it because I'm still sort of there. Do you know? I
Yes.
haven't kind of come through the far side, but it is a happy school. And look, it has its challenges. Community has its challenges as everywhere does. But in the vast majority of cases, it's people trying to do their best for their kids, and kids trying to learn and trying to succeed. And so I was very happy there.
Good.
Learned an awful lot. And that community was very gracious with me because, I was starting knowing nothing.
Yeah.
I hadn't been a vice principal. I was a head of a key stage. I was a big key stage, and I was a senior leader, but I hadn't done the nuts and bolts of kind of running a school.
And now you find yourself in Braniel.
In the Braniel, yeah.
I know. Well, we're delighted to have you.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. As I said to people in West Winds, there really only were 2 or 3 other schools in my head that I would have thought of leaving West Winds for, and Braniel would have been one of them. So to be here and about to start I'm excited about it. Looking forward to it.
And I suppose one of the reasons why we wanted to do this podcast today was we have no doubt there is going to be parents and granny and grandas and people from the community who are really interested in getting to know you and what sort of principal you're going to be. What would you say to them?
I'm looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to getting to know them. Yeah, look, I think the connection between families, communities, and school is a really critical one, and it's one I really want to invest a lot of time in. I think children learn best, whenever the adults in their life, and by that I mean family, community, people around school, whenever they work well together, I think that's children flourish in those environments, and that's what I'm looking forward to trying to shape, in Braniel. I think it's an exciting time, I think, as well, to be in a school. There's lots of positive things about school and about school life, and I think sometimes we only hear the negatives.
Yeah.
There's challenges, of course there is. The range of needs that kind of kids are coming with, and the lack of capacity in the system to deal with those is there. There's not enough money in school. We know all those things, but there's also tremendous opportunity. I think the whole area of staff, and how they learn and how they develop and good practice, I think it's an exciting time to be in teaching. The Department of Education, I think, are thinking seriously about that and about what we do to support that. I think we have a better idea as educators as to how children learn. And I think that's exciting. I reflect that I trained, 20 odd years ago. And obviously you're trained to teach in a particular way, and you're trained, here's the best way to do maths, here's some ideas around literacy. Our thinking's moved on in 20 years, and so I'm excited about getting into that sort of stuff as well. So I suppose I'm looking forward to Braniel being a happy school.
Yeah.
Well connected to community, to family, staff, kind of growing and learning, enjoying coming to work. Because I think that gives you the best possible culture, the best sort of environment for kids to do well. Because ultimately that's what we're about. We're about children flourishing.
Exactly.
And kind of meeting their potential, succeeding.
Yeah.
I think that's been a big thing for us in West Winds, is being really clear about what we mean by success. And I'm really looking forward to kind of, what does that mean in Braniel? Because it'll be different.
Yeah.
It's a different context. But I'm a big believer in that. Success is a huge motivator. So how do we help children succeed? How do we help them feel successful? Because my success will be different to yours. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait.
We're really excited to get for you to start and get going and
Yeah.
get things moving and all the rest of it. One last question: how important is the link between the local school and the local community for you?
Vital. Do you know? I mean, this isn't Braniel's not my school. It's not. It's not the school. The school doesn't belong to the staff or the teachers or the principal. It's the community school.
Yeah.
So of course it's my job to kind of guide and to shape and direct and all of those sort of things. But you know, the connection with the community is absolutely vital. If we lose that, then we lose something that I think is central to what school should be about. You know, a good school is a community school. I don't know Braniel terribly well. Like, I live close, but I don't know it well. But my sense is that there's, you know, a good sense of community here in Braniel. I would want the school to play a really important part in that. That was the story in West Winds, you know. The school was a really important part of all that kind of went on. You know, community organisations, churches, youth groups, all those sort of things. School is part of that. And I would hope that that'll be the same here. The door is open. You know, we want to work with community, whoever that is, because we want our children to flourish.
Yeah.
You know, we want our children to learn and to succeed, to kind of meet their potential. And the best way for that to happen, I think, you know, is when they're part of something bigger, part of a community, you know.
Brilliant.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Thank you for coming in.
Not at all.
Thank you for sharing. I know this is a little snippet of you and getting to know you. And obviously we're looking forward to, as time goes on, the community will get to know you better. We will get to know you better as church, the governors, everybody will get to know you better.
Yeah.
And the staff and all as well. So we're really looking forward to that. Before you go, can I pray for you?
Yes.
Would that be okay?
That'd be fine, yeah.
Lord, I just want to thank you for Niall and for all the things you've done in his life to date. And thank you that he has all the stories to share of his life this far. We just ask for your hand upon him and his family as he steps into this new role. Just ask that you'll give him wisdom and leading and guidance to make good decisions for the benefit of the kids, the staff, and the wider community. Lord, I pray that the folks will all give him a good welcome and that he will feel at home in the Braniel community. Just thank you for this time together, and just go with him in the rest of the things he has ahead of him in this week and the weeks to come. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Say thank you so much.
Thanks, Neil.
For coming in, and delighted to get to know you a bit more. And and thank you for coming on and spending your summer morning with us. Thank you.
Not at all a problem. Thank you.